freezing.
It's freezing in
isn't
here.
It, Flo? Flo Vilmano's here with the papers. We're going like this. We're going to keep talking about Brexit, though. Theresa May's speech a little bit later on. British papers calling it her most significant speech since becoming Prime Minister in July of last year.
That's right. Now, apparently The Telegraph got a sneak peek at this speech because they're reporting on it. Their article is getting a lot of attention ahead of that speech, and they have quotes from the speech to come. For instance, The Telegraph says that May will announce that the UK will not have a partial membership of the EU that leaves us half in and half out. Essentially, Britain is not going to seek a watered-down version of Brexit. Now, she's going to confirm, according to The Telegraph, that Britain is going to leave the single market and the customs union after Brexit. And she'll also pledge that Britain outside of the European Union will be a great global trading nation. So in a way, you don't even have to listen to that speech starting.
That's what I was going to say. What's the point in her giving the speech? She's already told us. Conservative Eurosceptics papers, they're rubbing their hands, aren't they, in anticipation already?
That's right. Now, pro-Brexit papers are very excited by this keynote speech. Let's take a look at some notorious pro-Brexit tabloids. Here you have the Daily Mail talking about Theresa's new free Britain. May will vow to break free from the EU's shackles today. According to the Daily Mail, will regain control of the border and break free from EU judges. Now, as I must say, the pun of the day goes to another tabloid, The Sun, that talks about great Brexpectations today.
Whoa.
And you can see Theresa May there. The Daily Express as well, which is another right-wing tabloid, very pro-UKIP, says, at last, the news we've been waiting for, we will get a clean break from the EU.
Pro-EU papers, though, a little less thrilled, perhaps not surprisingly. They hope that Theresa May will not go for what they call a hard Brexit.
That's right. There's quite a little dramatic drawing in The Guardian today where you can see Britain being ripped away from the EU there. This article says that May should be focusing on the least harmful way of leaving. Now, if Britain not only leaves the EU but also loses free access to its main export market in Europe, our economy will become smaller and poorer. And so lots of alarm in this article says, that's not a price that people are willing to pay. Now, The Independent is calling this the day of reckoning for Theresa May. They have a poll today, actually, an exclusive poll, that says that more people believe she's handling Brexit preparations badly than well. So The Independent says, okay, we're waiting for the speech, but the pressure's on.
OK, let's move on to a completely different story. We were talking about this in the French press review earlier. This weekend, the US President-elect Donald Trump, of course, gave those interviews to European papers in which he applauded Brexit. He said NATO was obsolete, and he claimed that the German Chancellor Angela Merkel committed a catastrophic mistake by welcoming migrants, among others. How's the European press reacting, Flo?
Well, what's interesting, we saw the French press was very alarmed by those comments. Well, surprise, surprise, so is the rest of Europe as well. Now, The Times, which is one of the papers that Donald Trump actually gave an interview to, sums up the reaction quite well, I find. That Trump's broadside stuns Europe. Now, perhaps the person who's the most stunned is the German Chancellor Angela Merkel. According to this article, she's trying desperately to organize a meeting with Donald Trump. She has been unable to arrange an appointment, according to this article, and she's only spoken to him once. It's interesting to see what the German papers are saying. There's a very interesting analysis piece in the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung here. You can see they're talking about risky Trump. They're incredibly alarmed by these comments coming from the president-elect. He's putting decades of U.S. policy, guidelines, and alliances into question. Now, there have been calls for unity across Europe, and there's an article in El País that describes these calls for Europe. They're talking about comments, actually, from the French government that has been urging European Parliament partners to close ranks. Why is there a photo of Manuel Valls? Well, the former prime minister described the president-elect criticism as a declaration of war. So you can see quite a lot of defiance coming out of Europe as well.
It's not just Europe that's bracing itself here, is it, Flo? You found a piece in the New York Times saying a sense of uncertainty is gripping the whole world.
That's right. The New York Times has a very good article that's summing up, I guess you could say, the confusion just a couple of days before Donald Trump's inauguration. Unpredictable disruption. That's the word they're using to describe what Donald Trump is doing here. You have the Germans who are angry. The Chinese are downright furious. Leaders of NATO are nervous. No one knows exactly where he's headed, according to this article, except that the one country that he's not criticizing is Russia and its president, Vladimir Putin, for now. That's the key word, for now. We don't know where he's going.
OK, we shall see. Lots of uncertainty then around Trump's presidency and around his inauguration as well.
That's right. Now, traditionally, inaugurations are a flashy deal in the United States. There's a very interesting article in the Washington Post about Donald Trump's inauguration, which seems like it might be a little different. Now, usually there's a massive parade, several official balls. Well, you can see this article saying that, surprising as it may be, his inauguration looks like it's shaping up to be a relatively low-key affair. Now, the photo there is from the trial, I guess you could say, the mock inauguration that took place. His parade, for instance, is expected to take 90 minutes, which would make it one of the shortest on records. Now, reportedly, he's having a hard time booking people to celebrate his inauguration with him. There's an interesting article in Rolling Stone, for instance, that points out that the latest band or performer, I guess you could say, to back out is actually a Bruce Springsteen cover band. They were supposed to play at his inauguration, but they didn't want to disrespect Bruce Springsteen, the boss, who publicly backed Hillary Clinton. Apparently, lots of papers are reporting it's very easy to get a ticket to the inauguration.
Oh, is it?
Apparently.
Okay.
So if you want to go, apparently it's very easy to get a ticket.
It's almost too late, but you've got a couple of days.
Hop on a plane to do it.
If you're not here in a few days' time, Flo, we know where you are. Flo will know with the international papers on France 24.